Well, hello and welcome back to a very different looking Durban Garden City. As you will know from my last video, I drew a line under my previous layout and decided to have a rebuild. It wasn't working. It seemed the sensible thing to do was to not go any further and dismantle it, saving everything and go again. Now what you can see here is the old table with a slightly higher table on top. That gives a bit of definition there in height. So what the idea is here is that we can have some sort of like embankments and things like that. In this corner, it's going to be a tunnel and a hillside. And where this wood is just bridged at the moment, that's going to be I think it's a viaduct they call it, a two-pier viaduct, and that'll be carved out to add a bit of interest and maybe a canal in that section there. This section here is where the station's going to be, okay, and if I just go around to the left, this will break into the fiddle yard, which will be a 10-track fiddle yard. It'll go over into a mountainside over here, and then it starts on the new tables that I've been constructing. Now, most of this wood is upcycled, so if you think it looks a bit splintery or a bit tatty, well, I really don't care. It's not about the wood, it's about what's on top of it. I can always hang a curtain around that. The main important thing was to salvage as much wood as I could from the previous layout. Now, as you can see, there's a load of cork on there at the moment, and there's tools and everything. But you can see that this gradually comes round and goes onto the front table, which at the moment has a load of track on it. And would you believe, under here there is another box of track, and down there there's lots of points, and in fact there is everything I need to continue with the build of the new layout. I don't think I really need to buy anything much at all. This piece of wood here is just laid across. For the time being, I'm not going to fix that up because, as you can see, I'm now trapped in. This is a complete circle all the way around me. Yep, that shows it quite well. And it means that I have to duck under here. Now, for the time being, I'm just going to lift that board out of the way and walk through while I do all the work on this back board over here, which, although I'm explaining, I'm not showing. So there it is. As you can see, I've kept all my point motors. They're all good and ready to go again. And there will be plenty of, what you call it now, where are they all? Well, they're in here somewhere, says he. There's plenty of Megapoints controllers and things like that. I may or may not do a mimic panel. I'm not sure on that count what to do. I haven't got my head around that yet. I might just do a series of switches for the points that go in and out of this fiddle yard that will be built. Or I might do a mimic plan, I don't know yet. The mood hasn't quite got me yet as to what I'm in the mood for. Anyway, so this is where we're at the moment. It's very nice and neat and tidy. I can reach everything. These boards are only 2 foot wide. I can reach them perfectly from either side, sort of thing. There is plenty of room here to move around, to have a bit of space and build what should be a nice layout. Now, if any of you haven't clocked it already, what you are looking at is a slightly smaller version of this. Now, that's Topley Dale. Topley Dale is Hornby Magazine's test track, and as you can see by this, we have the 10-lane fiddle yard, and then we have the station over here. We have a bit of a goods yard with a head shunt. I've included there what will be the turntable, but that'll be at a much later date. All this will be up and running before I even consider that. Now, the reason I say it's a slightly smaller version is, in actual fact, Topley Dale is 16 foot from there to there, and mine's only about 14 feet 4 inches. So although it's still a very good length, and I will be able to run some good sized trains on there, I'll have a fiddle yard that starts around about where that coach is. As you can see, it looks quite small on its own there, and it will end somewhere near over here. So I should be able to get some full length trains in there that we can use. I'm sticking with the name Durban Garden City because it is in Durban Road, it is in my garden, and Garden City just seems an appropriate name, being a new town, village, or new town, I suppose. Get me tongue tied around that lot. But anyhow, so the name stays the same. I still want to run it as a 1980s era, but I haven't got the preservation line as such. So what I'm hoping to do, looking at this, I know it's upside down, but looking at this, I want to use this goods yard here and this turntable as like a steam preservation area, which kind of shares the main line track, but it'll be, I don't know if any of you have been on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, but there is a station there where part of it is British Rail and the rest of it is the preservation line. They can mix, they do mix, and they will mix. So I will be having steam locos as specials going round here with some of the oldie worldy stuff in the station, like they've got on Topley and also with the more modern stuff to suggest that it is set in the 1980s and that the APT and the 125 coming through this station will not look out of place. But at the end of the day, it's a train set. If I want to run something on it, I will run it. I'm not going to be held to an era. You know, if I like the look of a train, I will buy it and I will enjoy running it. So there we are. If any of you want to visit the Hornby Magazine Topley Dale layout, you'll get a good idea of what I'm trying to achieve here. We're only at the very first step. There's a long way to go. I've got all these boards to paint now because I want them in grey. I've got that little bit there to make that I suggested. Now there's a height difference at the moment because these nice little adjustable feet that you can see I've got down here, I've only got those 4. The table next to it hasn't got any at all and will need them. So until I get those, my levels are all over the place anyway. But there's enough now for me to get on with at least getting this painted and laying some track over here, across here and over here. There's points to be fitted, there's bus wires to include, there's a lot to do and it's going to take time. I haven't yet decided if I'm going to pin the track or use the Copydex idea. You can give feedback on this. I'm not an expert at this. You can tell that. I've already spent 2 years and making mistakes and getting absolutely nowhere. So if there's any suggestions on how I set up my track, how I set up my points, whether I use a mimic panel or not, I don't care how insignificant it seems. I may or may not use your advice, but at least I've heard it. So please, help me out. I don't want to do this again. Once I've done this is my final crack at it. If it doesn't work this time, look out for my trains on eBay. Okay, I don't think it'll quite come to that, but you know what I'm saying. What else have we been doing? Just a quickie, there's a nice cabinet here which I picked up from an auction house in Grimsby called Prestige Auctions. I will mention his name, it's my brother's outfit, and he gets lots of locos and things that are usually going for next to nothing. I've got some of the Deltics in there from the NRM Deltic collection, and there are some other ones that I've got stored away. And I don't think I paid much more than £30 or more for each of them. And that train up there is my very first train set. You might recognise it. We all had it in the 1970s. It does still work, but it's a clunky old thing. I just like to put it on show. All right, I think that pretty much covers it all. So hopefully next time you see me, there'll be some colours involved, there'll also be some track. Who knows, there may be something even running, I don't know. But stick with us, keep the posts, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.